It's been confirmed tonight the government is to use the publicly owned Thornton Hall site in North County Dublin as a tented accommodation centre for asylum seekers. Once earmarked for a new jail, a portion of the 160-acre site will now be used for emergency accommodation in the very near future. Taoiseach Simon Harris had earlier said it was under consideration, with several other similar sites also being looked at. It comes as more than 90 tents have again been pitched along the Grand Canal in Dublin.
It was a tale of two worlds along the banks of the Grand Canal in Dublin today. On one side, asylum seekers sheltered in close to 100 tents. On the other, lunchgoers were enjoying picnics in the sunshine.
I think it's upsetting, it's very disappointing, it feels very, I don't know, it's very upsetting to see.
If you look through history, the best success we have is integration, and rather than creating slums like this, and effectively along the canal there, that's a little bit of a slum and we need to deal with it.
One plan to do just that involves using state land to provide tented accommodation on sites where there is also sanitation. The 160 acres at Thornton Hall in North Dublin ticks many of these boxes. Once the site for a planned prison, 2 decades on, it could provide large-scale tented accommodation.
Thornton Hall is logical in that sense, but it's a matter for the Department of Integration to come forward with specific proposals in relation to that. I'm working closely with Minister O'Gorman.
But as the tents return to Dublin City, the opposition remains unconvinced that the government is getting to grips with this crisis.
They haven't delivered a plan that is fair, efficient, enforced, and we have one publicity stunt following another. It seems to be the only response this government have.
What needs to happen is the Taoiseach, who has taken ownership of this, needs to lay out a plan for is this just what the citizens of Dublin should expect? Hoardings and tent encampment in the absence of accommodations.
One remedy could be the 600 or so spaces available in centres previously used to accommodate people from Ukraine. Government must now decide if that can be used by asylum seekers.
And Micheál joins us now from Leinster House. And Micheál, in terms of the Thornton Hall proposal, now fully confirmed tonight, how long may it take to get ready, though?
I think there is a hope within government that it mightn't take long at all, because there is a section of that site that does have services, that does have the key things like sanitation, also places where food could be distributed. So I think there is a hope that this could happen quite quickly. I think overall, though, you can see this is now the strategy that government are going to work towards. That is using state lands to provide tented accommodation, and that will continue to be the case until more buildings can be found and in the long term built. So I think that much is very clear tonight. I suppose also what you're seeing is, as well as the accommodation issue, there is that determination within government to look at other areas as well, things like deportation orders. Indeed, in the last few hours, the Justice Minister, Helen McEntee, said 700 have been signed so far this year, and Gardaí are looking at ways to make sure that people who've been told they have to leave the country do in fact leave. As well as that, the Garda Commissioner, speaking this evening, said that there is an awareness in the Gardaí that some people are being brought from ports in Belfast and Larne to Dublin, and there is a need to work with the authorities in Northern Ireland on that. So we can see a few things. The real short-term strategy and the real urgent one is to get people into tents on state lands, but also the other areas, things like deportation and working with authorities in Northern Ireland, very much on the agenda as well.
OK, Micheál, thank you.